we may be closing in on a farm bill. We caught up with the leading expert in the state on the subject for more. Brad Lubin from the university. We've got a Senate version of the Farm Bill, which broad bipartisan support, a House version, which barely cleared, I think, by 2 votes. So now how do the two sides come together and compromise?
Right. You know, we have 2 different Farm Bill versions, and clearly there's a more partisan version in the House and a very broad bipartisan version in the Senate. But for practical purposes, a lot of the bill is, while there are differences, is something that can be relatively negotiated in a straightforward manner. The one big fundamental difference between the 2 bills will remain the SNAP program in the nutrition title, and resolving very different principles or ideologies between the two chambers.
In terms of what producers are going to see, they're going to still have that ARC versus PLC decision, crop insurance. I mean, those safety net type issues are largely the same.
Right. We expect, given that the new Farm Bill does eventually get across the finish line, we would expect the same ARC versus PLC decision. Maybe slightly different parameters under each, but most significantly, a new decision in 2019 under different price circumstances.
Sure.
Very different than what we had back in 2014 when we signed up the first time. On the crop insurance title, we don't fundamentally see any changes to the program, at least through the legislative route.
Back to the SNAP side of things, when we talk about cuts there, let's make sure people understand that we're not just going to take that money then and put it into any of the commodity type programs. That's, right. You know, those are folks who are saying we've got to cut the budget, especially from a conservative type perspective. We just want that money gone.
Right. Right. Yes, it's important to remember the SNAP program, the nutrition title, may be 75+% of the total farm bill. That's not the bank account to pay for other things. So any changes there are about cutting total spending. In fact, the biggest proponents of cutting SNAP spending would also like to cut commodity program spending.
We actually had a House that on the first go-around voted no, which, as you brought up today, that's actually, what, the second time now in, what, about 5 years?
5 years. We saw the same happen the last Farm Bill in 2013.
And it does look like, I guess if we're being somewhat optimistic, that it does, I think the current Farm Bill expires September 30th, and it looks like we should be on track to maybe even beat that.
That would give Congress an accomplishment that they could certainly mention on the campaign trail before November. We could also see some argument that says, well, let's push this vote. We don't have the negotiations done, or it's better to push this vote until after the election. Either of those would give us a farm bill yet this calendar year in time for the 2019 year ahead.
This weekend also marks the Furnace County Fair, where they celebrate a livestock-friendly designation. NTV's Sydney Edwards reports.
Furnace County marks the 46th livestock-friendly county in Nebraska. Now, nearly half of the state's 93 counties have taken on this designation.
People got to eat our exports and things like that, and Nebraska is truly one of those people that's pushing forward, and we are leading it.
It's a way for a county to tell the nation they're open for more agricultural businesses. And Governor Pete Ricketts, who made it out to the fairgrounds, says if we want to grow Nebraska as a state, we have to grow agriculture.
That's our #1 industry. It drives our economy, and this is the heart and soul of what we do. And one of the key ways we can do that is through livestock. If you look at our overall ag receipts, about over $20 billion every year, about half of that is related to livestock.
Governor Ricketts says he would like to see more expansion of Nebraska's livestock operations. He mentions going overseas to promote Nebraska's beef as the best in the world.
When I was in Japan, I was able to witness a Japanese restaurant chain that signed an agreement to use only Nebraska pork. So these are ways that we can brand our state and create that preferential demand for the products we grow here.
Spencer Shiflett, a Furnace County commissioner, says expansion is exactly what they're hoping for. He says the county has the resources, the water, the ground, and the workforce to take on more ag businesses and grow the area.
To support our communities, our schools, to have and getting local people to come back and younger people to come back to our communities and take part in these operations and have a good high-paying job that they can do something that they've been involved with, from the very get-go.
This week brought heat and storms. What's in the week ahead? Our Grow Outlook is up next. And we're here at the Nuckolls County Fair, where we've got a lot of royalty. We'll explain.